Good morning, church body. If I have not met you yet, my name is Ryan, and I'm going to be doing today's morning devotion for you. Today we are going to be in Mark chapter 5, going through verses 14 through 17. So I'm going to read them real quick for you, and then we're going to discuss what's going on and what we can glean from it today. So it says, "So those who fed the swine fled, and they told it in the city and in the country. And they went out to see what it was that had happened. Then they came to Jesus and saw the one who had been demon-possessed and had the legion sitting and clothed in his right mind. And they were afraid. And those who saw it told them how it happened to him who had been demon-possessed and about the swine. Then they came to plead with him to depart from their region." So what's going on here? If you've been keeping up, you know that we had just talked about Jesus being in the Gadarenes area. As soon as he got off the boat, he was presented to by a man who was running out of the tombs, a man who had been living in the tombs, crazed with superhuman strength, had come and knew exactly who Jesus was. But see, it wasn't the man, it was the demons inside him that knew who Jesus was. This man had been demon possessed. He started by saying I and me. And then next thing you know, he starts using we. We are legion, for there are many of us. So this man had been possessed by these demons, and these demons recognized Jesus as soon as he entered the spot. And they begged for mercy. They begged to not be sent to hell. So Jesus saw this herd of swine and ended up sending them into that herd, and they ran off a cliff to their own doom. And then with that being said, the man was now freed from that bondage, those demons that had been possessing him. And we're coming into this morning seeing what happened afterwards. So those who had fed the swine fled. So you had people who were feeding the swine. They saw what happened. Were like, we're getting out of here. And they told it to everyone that they saw in the city and in the country. So right there near them, as well as anyone in that region. And they had to express what had happened. They had seen the man who had been demon-possessed. And this guy, it wasn't just a random thing. It was something that he had been living with. No one could get near this man. He was self-destructive and would hurt anyone that got close to him. So people are like, you know what? We're not messing with this guy. So they wrote him off. And all of a sudden, this guy is in his right state of mind. He's got a clear conscience. And they don't know how to respond. So these people, instead of being like, praise God, would you look at that? They didn't know how to respond. And instead, they began to plead with him to depart from their region. If you take a look at that verse, the him is uppercase. So that him that they are talking about is Jesus. They pleaded with Jesus to depart from their region. God revealed himself in a mighty way and saved this soul, and people wanted no part of it. So what's that mean for us? Have you ever had a situation in your life where something just happened and you're like, man, there is no other explanation, but that was God? Perhaps it's happened to you, or perhaps you saw it with someone else. How'd you respond in that moment? Were you immediately like, praise God? Or were you a skeptic at the time, like, you know what, I don't know? Or perhaps if that did happen to you and you're explaining it to someone else, maybe they were wowed and amazed, like, that really happened? But they wanted no part of the Jesus aspect of it. See, people want their cake and they want to eat it too. So often in time, people are comfortable with whatever way of life that they are currently in. And I have a feeling that's what happened here. These people had gotten used to this man being demon possessed, avoided him altogether. It was easier to avoid him. And they were more worried about the swine that had gone off this cliff and possibly lost any money from that, rather than this man's well-being. And they wanted to go back to their everyday life. We can't be that. If we have an interaction with Jesus, we need to make sure we are shouting it from the rooftops. And thing is, we cannot control how people are going to respond to those situations. You will have some people that their jaw drops and they come to know Jesus, or they want to know more about him, or they're going to give him all the praise. But you're also going to have other individuals that, sorry, I want no part of that. So I want to challenge you today. Make sure that no matter what, we are proclaiming Jesus' name. And no matter what, we're standing up for the true King in our lives. Love you guys. Hope you're blessed by this, and hope you have a great day.